in a move that has left fans speechless and the entire WNBA reeling. Chicago Sky head coach James Wade has just been forced to resign. And the reason behind his shocking exit is far darker than anyone imagined. At the center of the storm, none other than Angel Reese. Sources close to the team claim a private incident behind closed doors sparked the chain reaction that unraveled everything. What started as a tense locker room confrontation spiraled into a full-blown scandal, one that insiders say left Angel Reese in tears, shaken, and questioning her future with the team. Multiple players reportedly witnessed the explosive exchange, but stayed silent until now. Just days ago, a mysterious leak from inside the organization revealed what really went down during that private meeting, and it was so disturbing, so unprofessional, that Sky ownership had no choice but to cut ties immediately with Coach Wade. But here's where it gets worse. This wasn't an isolated incident. New reports suggest this wasn't the first time Wade crossed the line with Angel. Fans are demanding answers. The league is scrambling, and Angel Reese? She might never trust her team again. Stay tuned, because what's coming next could destroy the Chicago Sky. Before the resignation scandal shocked the sports world, Coach James Wade was considered the cornerstone of the Chicago Sky. Known for his no-nonsense leadership and sharp basketball IQ, Wade had long been praised for rebuilding the Sky into a competitive franchise. He had experience, he had results, and he had the trust of upper management. But all of that began to unravel the moment Angel Reese walked through the door. When Angel Reese was drafted, the Sky celebrated as if they had just won the championship. She brought with her not only athletic dominance and fierce competitiveness, but also a tidal wave of media attention and fanfare. Nicknamed Bayou Barbie, Reese was larger-than-life, Instagram famous, wealthy, and unapologetically confident. But what looked like a dream pairing on paper quickly turned into a locker room powder keg. From the start, sources say Wade and Reese clashed behind closed doors. Wade reportedly treated her like a typical rookie, demanding she earn her spot, and calling out her attitude during practice. But Angel, fresh off a national championship and the face of multiple brand deals, wasn't used to being talked down to. According to insiders, Wade didn't just coach her hard, he humiliated her. Anonymous players leaked that team meetings grew increasingly hostile. Wade allegedly called Reese a distraction and minimized her contributions even after strong performances. At one point, a source claims Wade benched her without explanation during a nationally televised game, sending shockwaves through the locker room and social media. Angel's frustration reportedly spilled into her personal life. Close friends noticed she stopped smiling in post-game interviews, often dodging questions about team chemistry. Meanwhile, Wade continued to act like everything was fine, publicly praising her, while privately isolating her from leadership discussions and team strategy. Then came the emotional breakdown. Reports surfaced that Reese left practice early in tears after a closed-door meeting with Wade. Within days, she was absent from the bench, then rushed to the hospital for stress-related complications. Fans demanded answers, but the Sky's front office stayed silent. Wade, however, was said to be furious that Reese's team made her medical issues public. The final straw. Leaked audio allegedly captured Wade screaming at Reese in the locker room, blaming her for the team's media circus and shouting, "This is a basketball team, not a fashion runway." The audio quickly went viral, sparking outrage across the WNBA community. Under immense public pressure, and with players reportedly threatening a quiet boycott, Wade submitted his resignation, but it didn't end there. Reese's camp has remained silent, strategically so, while rumors swirl that a tell-all interview or even legal action may be in the works. What seemed like just another player-coach disagreement turned out to be something much darker. A story of power, jealousy, mistreatment, and a rising star who refused to be broken, and that was only the beginning. The resignation of Coach James Wade didn't bring the closure many hoped for. It ignited a firestorm. For weeks, whispers of misconduct and emotional abuse had circulated, but now, with Wade gone and Angel Reese still missing from practice, insiders began leaking disturbing new details about what really happened behind those closed doors. It wasn't just verbal outbursts and ego clashes. According to a Sky assistant coach who later resigned in solidarity with Reese, Wade allegedly created a toxic and retaliatory environment specifically aimed at breaking Angel's spirit. She was reportedly forced to run extra drills alone, excluded from team meals, and removed from key team chats without explanation. One insider claimed Wade had told staff, "She needs to be humbled, or she'll ruin this team." The first twist came when a Chicago journalist leaked a confidential internal report that had been buried by the Sky's management. The report detailed multiple complaints made by players about Wade's treatment of Angel, including one shocking incident where he allegedly screamed at her in front of sponsors and threatened to suspend her to protect the brand. The organization's top brass reportedly chose not to act, afraid of backlash from firing a respected male coach over what they dismissed as rookie drama. Even more alarming, it was revealed that Reese's emotional breakdown and hospitalization weren't simply the result of media pressure, according to sources close to her family. Angel suffered a severe panic attack after a private meeting with Wade, in which he reportedly told her, "You're not as important as you think you are." That same night, she was rushed to a nearby medical facility and placed under observation for what doctors classified as acute psychological distress. But perhaps the most damning revelation came from a teammate anonymously who said the entire team heard Wade mock Angel's mental health behind her back during a film session. He allegedly laughed and said, "Maybe she'll come back when her little episode's over." That teammate later called it the turning point, saying, "We all saw who he really was in that moment. He didn't care about her. He wanted to break her." The media quickly picked up the story, national outlets began digging, and public opinion shifted overnight. Fans who had once questioned Angel's attitude were now furious on her behalf. Hashtags like #Justice for Angel and #WadeOut began trending, and former WNBA legend spoke out, calling for a full investigation. Meanwhile, Angel remained silent. She hadn't returned to practice, games, or social media, but her team lawyers, family, and close friends were reportedly building a case behind the scenes. What began as a coaching change had now evolved into a scandal that threatened to consume the entire franchise, and with rumors swirling that Angel Reese's family was preparing to speak publicly. For the first time, the stakes were only getting higher. The silence wasn't weakness, it was strategy. Something big was coming, just when fans thought the worst had already been exposed. The situation surrounding Coach Wade and Angel Reese escalated into a full-blown media crisis. Less than 48 hours after the leaked internal report made headlines, a new bombshell rocked the WNBA. Angel Reese's family had officially hired a legal team. And not just any legal team, but a powerhouse group known for handling major athlete abuse cases. Sources close to the Reese family revealed that the legal action was not limited to defamation or emotional distress. They were preparing a civil suit against both Coach Wade and the Chicago Sky organization, citing willful negligence, mental and emotional abuse, and workplace retaliation. This wasn't just about Angel anymore, it was about accountability at the highest level of women's professional sports. But the biggest shock came from a leaked video clip never meant to see the light of day. A member of the Sky's media team anonymously shared footage from a behind-the-scenes practice session. In the grainy, unedited video, Wade could be seen berating Angel in front of the team, his tone aggressive and dismissive. At one point, he appeared to shove a clipboard in her direction and shout, "If you can't handle pressure, maybe you don't belong in the league." The video was damning. Within hours, it went viral. Fans, players, and media personalities across the sports world were in an uproar. The WNBA's official account issued a vague statement acknowledging growing concerns and promising a review, but that only fueled the outrage. Critics demanded a full independent investigation into not only Wade's conduct, but also the Sky's internal handling of the situation. Meanwhile, several of Angel's former LSU teammates began speaking out. Flauya Johnson posted a cryptic message on Instagram, "Y'all don't even know half of what she's been through." Alexis Morris tweeted, "Protect black women, especially the ones y'all profit off of." Former WNBA stars chimed in too. Lisa Leslie called the leaked footage unacceptable, while Candace Parker said she was heartbroken over the treatment of a rising star in the league. "You don't get to bully the face of your franchise and walk away without consequences," Parker posted. But perhaps the most chilling reveal came from an insider who claimed the Sky's front office knew about Wade's behavior for months. They had reportedly conducted an internal meeting in early June, discussing concerns about Wade's relationship with Angel and the potential PR risk if it got out. Instead of acting, they decided to let the season play out at the cost of a young star's mental health. That revelation was a turning point. Public sentiment flipped entirely in Angel's favor. The conversation had moved beyond locker room drama. This was now about systemic failure and accountability in women's sports. And just as the WNBA began bracing for damage control, Angel's mother posted one haunting message on X. "They tried to break her, but they forgot who raised her. It's our turn now. Something far bigger was coming, and no one, not even the league, was safe. The backlash came swift and loud the moment the leaked footage hit social media. A tidal wave of support surged toward Angel Reese from every corner of the sports world. Hashtags like #Justice for Angel, #Fire Wade Now, and #Protect Black Women in Sports began trending globally. Fans flooded the Chicago Sky's official accounts with demands for answers, transparency, and most of all, accountability. Celebrities chimed in too. Cardi B tweeted, "Y'all really let a grown man bully Angel Reese on camera and just hoped it wouldn't come out. That's disgusting." Rapper Lil Wayne reposted the clip with the caption, "Nah, we not letting this slide. Stand tall, Angel." Meanwhile, the WNBA's silence was deafening. For nearly 2 days, the league refused to issue a direct statement about Coach Wade, even as thousands of comments poured in under every post they made. Commentators like Stephen A. Smith called out the league live on ESPN. "This is a disgrace. If this was the NBA, Wade would have been suspended already. Why is Angel Reese being left to fight this battle alone?" Sponsors began pulling away too. One of the Sky's key corporate partners, a regional airline, suspended all advertising tied to the team until a formal investigation was launched. Another partner, a major apparel brand, released a statement condemning all forms of workplace intimidation and expressed concern for Angel's well-being, even inside the WNBA. Players were making noise. Sabrina Ionescu reposted a photo of Angel in tears with the caption, "No woman should have to go through this." A group of players from different teams issued a joint statement demanding Coach Wade's resignation and calling on the league to create real protections for young stars navigating power dynamics in professional sports. Former players took it even further. Swin Cash appeared on a podcast and said, "This is what happens when coaches get too much power and no oversight. I've seen this happen before." Angel just had the courage to stand up. But the most gut-wrenching moment came during a Chicago Sky home game, where fans held up signs that read, "We stand with Angel and accountability now." When Angel didn't take the court, the crowd booed not at her absence but in protest of the franchise's failure to protect her. The public wasn't just watching anymore, they were demanding blood. And Coach Wade, he'd gone completely silent. Not a single interview, not a single statement, but the storm was nowhere near over. Just when the dust seemed like it might settle, when fans thought the worst was over, a second, even more disturbing video surfaced. This one was not just a confrontation, it was a full-blown verbal explosion, recorded by a team staffer who secretly shared it with a local Chicago journalist. In the footage, Coach Wade can be seen screaming at Angel Reese during a closed-door film session, but this time, it wasn't just about her performance. Wade crossed an irreversible line, bringing up her nil deals, mocking her off-court image, and accusing her of putting herself above the team. His tone was aggressive, his words laced with personal venom, and that's not all. Another voice in the room, an assistant coach, tried to intervene, telling Wade he had gone too far. But instead of backing down, Wade allegedly threatened the assistant's job. The room fell into stunned silence as Angel, clearly overwhelmed, left the session in tears, slamming the door behind her. The timing couldn't have been worse. That very same night, the Chicago Sky's ownership group was holding an emergency meeting about Wade's future. The new league didn't just confirm the abuse, it exposed the pattern. Insiders claimed it wasn't the first time Wade had berated players in private, but it was the first time proof had reached the public. The pressure hit a breaking point. At 1:47 a.m., a bombshell notification flashed across phones nationwide. James Wade resigns as Chicago Sky head coach, effective immediately. But it wasn't over. League officials announced a pending investigation, not just into Wade's conduct but into how the organization allowed it to go on. Angel's legal team also hinted that a civil lawsuit may be filed against the franchise itself. And as for Angel, she hasn't posted a single word since the resignation. No tweet, no IG story, no interview, but sources close to her say she's not done, not by a long shot. Because behind that silence, something big is coming. So now, the spotlight turns to you, the fans, the followers, the ones who have been there since day one. Do you stand with Angel Reese? Do you believe that no player, no matter how famous or polarizing, should be subjected to verbal humiliation behind closed doors? Because this story isn't just about a coach's resignation, it's about the culture of silence that's been tolerated for far too long in professional sports. Angel's emotional breakdown, the cover-ups, the forced hospital trip, and now a coach exposed it all points to a system that protects power, not players. And here's the truth. Angel Reese has become a symbol, a lightning rod. Loved by millions, hated by many, but undeniably, she refuses to be broken. So now we ask you, should the WNBA launch a full investigation into locker room abuse? Should the Chicago Sky front office be held accountable for what they let happen? Under their roof, let your voice be heard in the comments. Was Wade's resignation enough, or is this just the beginning of a much larger reckoning? Smash that like button if you think Angel deserves justice. Subscribe if you want every explosive update on what happens next. Because we've got exclusive insider leaks coming that the mainstream media still won't touch. And if you think Angel Reese's story is far from over, you're absolutely right. This isn't the end. It's just the start of a revolution. Because if this could happen to someone like Angel Reese, then who's next? Stay tuned, stay loud, and never, ever look away.